You ever find yourself in a battle with your own mind? Like, you know exactly what you should be doing, but there's this powerful pull to do the complete opposite. It's a struggle that's as old as time. But what if I told you that one of the best, most practical guides for winning this fight was actually written almost 400 years ago? Let's dive into this surprisingly modern tactical manual for the mind.
I mean, really, why is it so tough? It's a question that gets right to the heart of being human. We make plans, we have these amazing goals, we believe in certain values, and then, somehow, we fall short. We get sidetracked by desires or fear or just plain old distraction. It really feels like there's some kind of force working against our own best intention.
So, let me introduce you to a guy named John Owen. And look, forget any stuffy stereotypes you might have about the Puritans. This guy wasn't just some old-school theologian, he was a seriously deep psychologist. In 1658, he wrote a book about temptation that reads less like a sermon and way more like a field guide for your own brain, a tactical manual for understanding and defeating all those urges that pull us off course. Owen's first move here is absolutely brilliant. He basically says, look, before you can even think about fighting, you have to know what you're actually up against. And his main point is that most of us are getting it completely wrong. We totally misunderstand what temptation really is.
This is how we tend to think about it, right? It's just a simple urge. You know, a craving for one more slice of pizza, the pull to just watch one more episode instead of working, the little voice telling you to hit snooze. It just feels like this minor inconvenience you're supposed to just brush off.
But check out Owen's definition. It is so much bigger and honestly so much more serious. For him, temptation is anything with the force to literally seduce your mind and heart away from the path you've set for yourself. So we're not just talking about cookies here. For Owen, temptation could be that ambition that makes you cut corners at work, or the fear that stops you from doing the right thing, or even a seemingly good opportunity that just happens to pull you away from what you're really meant to be doing.
And this leads to his most crucial idea. There's a world of difference between just being tempted and actually entering into temptation. See, being tempted is just the enemy showing up at the gates. It's an external thing, and hey, it happens to everyone all the time. The real danger starts when you unlatch the gate and let that idea inside your head. That's entering temptation. It's when the thought becomes an internal debate, a negotiation that's happening inside the walls of your own mind.
Okay, so if the big danger is letting temptation get a foothold inside, Owen then raises the stakes even higher. He warns us about this specific critical moment that he calls the hour of temptation. This is when that internal struggle becomes almost overwhelmingly powerful.
And he lays out how it escalates. First, a thought is just entertained. You don't act on it, you just kind of play with the idea. Then your heart starts to get familiar with it. The initial shock or guilt wears off. The thing that once seemed unthinkable now feels, well, not so bad. And that's when the hour arrives.
This is that perfect storm moment. It's when the perfect opportunity shows up on the outside, at the exact same time that your own internal weaknesses, your fears, your desires, are at their absolute peak. It's like a pincer movement. It's a two-front war being fought against your own will.
What Owen is laying out here feels incredibly modern. He's basically describing a psychological boss battle. This isn't just some random low-level enemy you run into. No, this is the final boss of the level, where the temptation is powered up, all the conditions are perfect, and you have to face it when it's at its absolute strongest.
So, if temptation is a siege and there's a climactic boss battle on the way, where's your biggest weakness? Well, according to Owen, it's not the enemy outside the walls. The biggest threat is the traitor within.
Owen uses this really powerful piece of ancient wisdom to make a kind of shocking point. When you're in that hour of temptation, you can't trust yourself. You just can't. Your own heart, your feelings, all your clever rationalizations, he says they will betray you.
He even identifies what he calls the internal sleeper agents. Think of these as parts of our own nature that are secretly working for the other side. So when an external temptation to, say, lie for a promotion appears, our internal ambition or pride wakes up and goes, hey, I can work with this. They are actively conspiring with the enemy from the inside. To show just how badly we can misjudge ourselves, Owen brings up this old story. A prophet tells this general, Hazael, that one day he's going to do these absolutely horrific things. And Hazael is genuinely, completely appalled. His reaction is basically, what do you think I am? Some kind of animal? There's no way I would ever do that.
Owen's point here is just chillingly direct. He says the right temptation at the right time will make you that dog.
It will turn you into the very thing you swore you would never become. It's proof that we don't really know what we're capable of when the pressure is on.
Okay, so the situation might seem a little bleak, right? We're fighting a powerful enemy that has allies literally inside our own heads. But Owen doesn't just leave us there. He gives us a very clear two-part defense strategy taken straight from the words of Jesus in the book of Matthew.
And it's deceptively simple. Watch and pray. But what Owen means by these two words is way more active, way more strategic than it sounds at first.
So to watch in Owen's system means you have to become a master of self-awareness. It's about doing constant surveillance on your own heart. What are your specific triggers? What's your natural personality? Are you someone who's quick to anger? Do you have a hard time saying no to people? Are you prone to anxiety? Watching means knowing your vulnerabilities like the back of your hand and then strategically avoiding the situations, the people, and the environments that you know will exploit them.
And what about pray? Well, this is the big countermove to our tendency to just try and handle everything ourselves. After he's established that you can't trust your own heart, praying is the act of admitting your own weakness. It's looking at the situation and realizing, you know what? I don't have what it takes to win this fight alone. It's about actively asking for help from a power greater than yourself. It's a strategy that's built on humility.
So beyond that immediate, in-the-moment, two-part defense, Owen offers a long-term strategy. He calls it the ultimate antidote, a way to build up your resilience so that temptations have less and less power over you in the first place.
He calls it keeping the word of Christ's patience. Now, I know it sounds a little archaic, but what he's getting at is the idea of fully absorbing a core set of values and principles so deeply that they become part of you. It's about building your entire life around a central truth so completely that it becomes your mind's default operating system.
And he breaks it down into 3 really actionable steps. You have to know these principles, not just as facts, but as a real source of strength. Then you have to value them, to see them as your greatest treasure, more important than anything else. And finally, you have to obey them, actually putting them into practice in your daily life.
And what's the end result of all this? Well, it's not that you suddenly become immune to temptation. It's that you build a fortress of character. Your own integrity, your own uprightness becomes your protection. It acts like a guard for your soul, protecting you from the inside out.
So we end with this question. John Owen's advice from way back in 1658 lands with incredible relevance today, doesn't it? We live in a world that is literally designed to capture our attention, to create new desires every second, to offer us infinite distractions. His call to watch is more urgent than it's ever been. So the question for us is, what does it actually mean for you to truly stand guard over your own heart?